Hey everybody, how you guys doing? We're gonna get started. Our wine and paint for the evening. We're gonna be talking about mindfulness with Mr. David Schilling, an amazing photographer and author. So 1 second here. Okay, and I think he is. Can you press join? Hey, how are you today?
I am doing well. How are you? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Okay, cool. All right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Do you have your creative weapons of choice?
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna get started with our 5-minute doodle. So go ahead, tell us who you are, what you do, while we get the doodling.
Perfect. So my name is David. I go by Chilling with Schilling on Instagram. I am a photographer. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a YouTuber. Um, I've done just about everything. I've worked with dogs. I've worked with kids. I used to teach gymnastics and trampoline.
Oh, nice.
Um, and I'm a writer. I wrote a book about my mental health struggles.
Yes.
Just give me 1 second. I am a terrible artist in the visual arts world, so talking and drawing at the same time are not my strong suits.
That is all right. That's okay. I can't believe that you're not a visual artist because you're a photographer. Like you have to put all the visuals together. So there's no.
What happens in here and what happens out of here are two very different things. Um, so it's a little bit difficult to put what's up here, what's into here. That's why I use my camera.
Okay, well, I can dig it. I'm just saying, Photoshop is no easy feat. Like, I was struggling earlier this morning to do something in Photoshop, and I was just like, this is outrageous. Like, it's taking me 5 hours to do this one thing in Photoshop. So,
Yep.
yeah, man. It gets
And
pretty.
I am not good at Photoshop either. I do very, very basic, simple edits. It's nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, would you like to share anything else about yourself before we get into the interview?
Um, I'm looking to get into some streaming on Twitch. If you follow my YouTube channel, it's just look up Chilling with Schilling on YouTube and you'll find my YouTube channel. Um, you'll be able to stay a little bit more in touch with some of the things that I'm doing and stuff. Unfortunately, I had to take a month off of everything. Seasonal depression mixed in with everything else that's going on and stuff made things a little bit difficult
Yeah.
over the holidays. So pulling back out of that rough spot and things. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely understand that because, like you're saying, like my seasonal depression, like it is just whipping my butt this season. Like I've never
No.
been this sore in my life from depression, or just it's just crazy to me. Like I just feel so sore all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So, okay, we're gonna start talking about mindfulness. And if you have a drink with you, you can share with us, write that
I
drink.
do. Now, you had told me that I had to share with you my favorite cup.
Yes. Yes.
Unfortunately, it is not this cup.
Okay, that's all right.
This cup is, I love it. It's great. I'm a Game of Thrones nerd. I'm a nerd all in general. I don't know if you can see the BB-8 behind me over there, right there.
Yes,
Star Wars stuff. That's a lightsaber. So I'm a bit of a nerd there.
that's cool.
Um, Game of Thrones, love it.
Nice.
My favorite cup has coffee in it.
Oh,
This is Eeyore. He is my extra big cup.
yes.
Um, I like it because Eeyore sort of symbolizes depression. He is the most sort of recognizable character that sort of symbolizes depression. And even though he suffers sometimes really, really poorly, like a really, really strong depression,
Mhm.
um, his friends accept him for who he is. They still invite him out. He still goes, and he's allowed to be miserable around his friends. It's refreshing. So this
Right.
is my favorite cup.
I love it. I love that. I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan, and I totally relate to you. Like, that's me all day. So yes, I love I love that. And tonight, my cup, I have a cup that my best friend got me, and it says, "I punch a bitch for you right in the throat." So
Amazing.
yes, I love drinking out of this cup. Tonight, I'm drinking my 19 Crimes Snoop Dogg wine. It's really good.
Nice.
It's red rose,
Um,
really, really good.
I
And
do have to give a shout out. I think they're currently watching. I am drinking my
ooh,
aunt and uncle's wine. So quick little shout out to my aunt and uncle for making wine.
very nice. Yes, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that wine because I'm a big connoisseur, so I need that plug. I need that connection for sure. Yes. All right. Well, I'm excited. Let's get into mindfulness. It's very hard to just be mindful, I know, for us as creatives, but how would you define mindfulness? Like, what does that look like to you?
Mindfulness is something that I think is a little bit subjective to each person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, being mindful is just being aware of others, how they're just being in general. You don't know what people are going through or anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
just being aware that other people have a story. They might not be anyone relevant to you in general. They just could be a person driving beside you on the street. But mindfulness is just being aware that everyone around you has their own story,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what it is that is causing them to go on their path.
I like that definition. And I like how you included other people as well, because so many times we're just wrapped up in what's going on with us and oh, my boss is being an asshole today and this customer was a jerk. Like, we never, well, I didn't really start taking the time to think about, okay, how are these other people thinking and feeling and stuff like that until maybe maybe I was like 28, maybe
Okay.
7. I started thinking about, okay, well, why do I keep attracting these different types of people and these different types of situations? So I do like what you said, just thinking about our surroundings and other people as well. That's a very good point. So mindfulness is excuse me, is defined as the quality of state of being conscious or aware of something. So yes, that was a very good explanation for that. Was it easy for you to achieve mindfulness? Or
Ask me that again in maybe 10 years, and I'll have a better answer for you. No, it is a constant struggle.
yeah.
Um, Dealing with some of the things that I deal with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and I may or may not be slightly neurodivergent. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Mhm.
Um, but it is a constant struggle not to get stuck in here in your head
Yeah.
and just get lost. And I still suffer from time loss, things like that, because I do get stuck in my head very frequently.
Mhm.
So it is a constant challenge to just, nope, slow down, be aware. You don't know what that person is going through, or you don't know what's going on up ahead. So traffic is
Mhm.
slow for a reason. Um,
Yeah.
might be an idiot on the road, might be a bad accident. You don't know. So just slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
And it does help, but like I said, it's a constant battle for me.
for sure. Same here. Like, I don't think I have achieved it completely at all either. Like you said, I can sit there. Even, sometimes I don't do it as much as I used to or as for as long as I used to, but I will sit there just ruminating just in my head like about different scenarios, how this could have gone, how this person said this to me, just different things. So yes, it is very easy to get lost in this. I like the word. Did you use time? Like a time warp? Is that what you said?
It's called time loss.
Okay.
It's an effect with certain people that certain people have,
Mhm.
where you essentially like you'll look over, you heard a crash at the window, you look over at the window, you see it was nothing, you look back and it's 10 minutes later. Um, Lots of stuff like that. It's one thing triggers a brain thought, which triggers another one, which triggers another one, which, hey, I remembered an argument I had 6 weeks
Yeah.
before, so now I remembered something really, really fun I should have said back then. And
Mhm. Yeah. And I'm constantly, like you said, just going through those different scenarios in my head. And I didn't even realize that there was a name for it, time loss. It makes so much
yes,
sense. Like I'm just sitting there, just like you said, just losing time. So that definitely makes sense. So since mindfulness is something that you had to start fitting into your life, is there a spot where you go where you can have that, or is it just wherever you decide to make it now?
um, it started off as my room. My room is my sanctuary.
Mhm.
I'm a huge nerd, as I mentioned before, so I have a computer with 3 screens. I have an Xbox set up. I have my camera set up for YouTubing and things. So it gives me a lot of distractions to help me kind of focus my energy a little bit better.
Yeah,
But now I'm at a point where I'm starting to push myself outwards, be outside of my comfort zone, and still practice these techniques and these skills that I've learned. Um, Anywhere I'm around kids or animals is great because they live in the moment. So you have to sort of be in the moment with them as well.
yeah.
Be very aware of where they are and their surroundings and stuff too. So it
Mhm.
really does help you focus in when you're around the right company. Let's call them.
Definitely. I totally agree. I heard you mention animals, and in your book, I seen as well that you mentioned animals as a lot as a source of support for you. And I totally
Yeah.
agree that there's so many times where my cat has saved my life. Like just
Mhm.
being around and just being able to go upstairs and pet my neighbor's cat or see the dog or feed the cats outside, like that brings me so much comfort. And it's just so interesting that she said that. So what other things do you go to for that to keep you grounded?
Um, it varies from place to place.
Hmm.
I don't like going long distances,
Hmm.
period. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm working towards that. I do enjoy going for a nice long car ride. I find, again, being on the road, you have to be aware of your surroundings while you're driving and stuff. Um, but it just, I don't know, for me, there's something about having the window down and the music up, and you're just kind of driving.
Right.
It's a very liberating and freeing feeling. Um, this past summer, on a whim, I drove um, 2 hours away to Muskoka in Ontario. From where I am, it's about a 2.5 hour drive, and it was just a day trip up to cottage country just to escape.
Yeah, that's important. That's important that you recognize you got to take that time and just go and do things.
Yes. And as a photographer, as an artist, I try to always bring my camera with me. It's one thing I got to do a lot more this year is just always have my camera so I can go out on a whim, go drive somewhere,
Mhm.
and just capture, focus in, capture these memories and these moments.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I have to take the sketchbook like everywhere with me so I can, because I never know when I'm going to want to paint something or someone,
Mhm.
something will inspire me. And my mind, it moves 20,000 miles a minute. So I might see something and be like, oh, I'm going to paint that. I'm going to do the like, so I have
I'm
to record it. Like I have to. So yeah,
I'm the
that's
same.
also another
My
way to stay mindful. So
Mhm. My mantra, it's a personal mantra, is David, slow down and use real words.
mm,
I speak very quickly, naturally. I apologize for anyone listening. It might be a little hard to catch what I'm saying. Um, but I just have a very naturally fast rhythm, and to slow myself down allows me to capture in more moments and take in more memories.
yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's what I'm trying to get myself into, like actually feeling things instead of thinking about feeling them. Like, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like just being present, just being in that moment. Like sometimes I'll have little practices where I have to like count to myself as if
Hmm.
I'm like a rocket ship or something. Like, and I can't just do one, two, three. Like I have to do five, four, three, two, one, and then I'll
Yeah.
start something. And
Hmm.
like in order to get myself out of maybe like a little funk or whatever, I will take something I'm looking at and just make like different rhymes about it. Like I recently lost my father, so a lot of things I see and hear that remind me of him. And like, instead of getting sad or whatever, I'll try to like make up a song like we used to or something like that. So I'm trying to stay mindful during this time, but like you're saying, like with the seasonal depression and stuff, it's just like, and I don't know if it's because I'm almost 30, so I don't know if it's that as well. But it's just like, oh my gosh, I want to do these things, but my body's like, no, no, you don't. Like you want to do them, so
Um, what I will say, being almost 30, you are very young still to lose a parent. So it's going to be very difficult for you.
yeah.
What I learned when I lost my fiance was to allow yourself to feel. If
Mhm.
you're having a bad day, if you're having a well of emotions, allow yourself to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
Um, the more you try to push it down, the more it's going to come back with a vengeance. So if you're having a bad day, just have a bad day. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm definitely just trying to learn that to tell myself it's okay to feel these different things. So you're right. So with everything that you have going on, like, is it ever hard for you to sleep? Is it ever hard for you to sleep?
I get between 2.5 and 4.5 hours of sleep a night. Um, Between my depression and the PTSD, I think that's the bad one.
Mhm.
I have a routine. I have a natural rhythm now of waking up at 3:30 in the morning every single morning, no
Mhm.
matter when I go to sleep. Um, so I thought I would hack that system and go to sleep way earlier,
Yeah.
and that didn't help. I just started waking up extra early anyway. So
Mhm.
um, having issues sleeping is a definite struggle. I know I'm not the only one who deals with that.
No. No. And so you I deal with that all the time. Like, and it's interesting that you said that you're trying to figure out how to fit that into your life because obviously that's not going away. Like I used to get up, at 5 o'clock in the morning all the time. Because again, my dad, he was a bus driver and would get up, do these things, and that's how I operate now. Because we would talk in the morning and stuff like that. So instead of trying to fight those things, I just try to fit it in. But it is
Mhm.
hard. So does that ever affect how you operate throughout the day, and how do you stay? Do you realize when it's affecting you?
Um, yes. I've gotten myself to a point where I'm able to understand and separate sort of what's going on and what I'm feeling, whether it's past memory that's triggered me and brought up some negative emotion, or whether it's a real world event that's happening currently in my life that's causing real world stress.
Mhm.
It's very different feelings, and how I have to respond to that is also very, very different.
Mhm.
Um, Again, I've sort of taught myself to ride the wave, as I call it. So the more um, um, sometimes I should say you get so upset, you get so full of negative emotion that no matter what you try, no matter what fail safes you've set in place, no matter how many times you count backwards from five, you can't get rid of that feeling. Um, I call that riding the wave. I say this doesn't count. Whatever comes up doesn't count. And I just feel it. I hate myself. I talk down to myself. I hate those around me. It's just
Mhm.
whatever comes out, comes out. And then
Yeah.
I figure out why it had to come out, what caused that. Because I don't hate my family. I don't hate myself. I don't hate the people that I've surrounded myself with. So when
Right.
those feelings come up, there's an underlying um, cause there that I have to try to figure out. And sometimes you can't do that in the moment. The emotions are too strong. So you just have to allow yourself the time to let the emotion out, and then work backwards and figure out where it came from to make sure that you work on that point so it doesn't get worse.
Yeah. And see, that's like another hang up for me. Like I will try to suppress the emotion or judge myself for feeling that certain,
Mm-hmm.
which carries me on to another tangent or a loop, like you were saying. So it's just that is another thing that I'm being more mindful of now. Like, okay, I need to reflect on that, or I could sit here and cry, or whatever. Like those things are okay. Like just feel it, like you're saying. So yeah, very good point there. So do you think that there's? Let me ask you this first. How do you define or measure productivity?
Productivity, everybody's going to have different levels of productivity in different areas of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's productive during work, physical labor, manual labor, things like that. Whether it's being able to stick to an agenda. There's lots of little um, ways to help with your productivity.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be a very, very hard challenge to overcome. Um, I go from super productive, I can get 30 things done in a day, go, 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 go. And then you have that crash and burn afterwards, and then you have to build yourself up and things. So, pacing yourself is the best way for productivity long term. And quite honestly, knowing my limitations for me. Um, I do have some mental health challenges that limit my mental capacity when it comes to being out for long periods of time, or doing work, certain types of work, or dealing
Mm-hmm.
with people is a huge energy drainer for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so understanding your limitations and doing what you can within those boundaries, but
Mm-hmm.
not pushing them too hard.
Right.
Um, if you feel good, try to maintain that good feeling. You don't want to start feeling tired because you're gonna. I can only speak for myself, but I get hit by a bag of rocks afterwards. So if I push
Mhm.
myself too hard, I'm out for 3 or 4 days afterwards, and
Yeah.
that includes being around people. I've become fairly antisocial in my mental health journey just because I find it very taxing to be social. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, productivity is for me right now is all about picking my moments
Mhm.
and really sort of zeroing in on my good feelings and getting things done when I have that um, thought process to do things.
Yeah. Like, so that's interesting that you mentioned, like, sometimes you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna go and do this as well. So I have different mental health issues as well that, my attention span and amount of things that I like to do, like you said, going out to interact with people sometimes is just so draining. And then like the type of work that I do, I'm working with people all day. So by the time I'm done with that, like sometimes I don't have anything left, like just period. I
Yep.
don't want to look at anything, anyone, just go to bed. Like that's all I want to do. So it's very hard to not be so hard on myself and be like, oh, you didn't get this done like you said you were, and stuff like that. So like you said, it's just all about learning yourself and your limitations and knowing like, okay, that's enough today or whatever. So it takes a lot of time. So I was gonna ask you as well if you think there's anything as such as toxic productivity. But I feel like you kind of definitely,
100%.
yeah,
I mentioned in my book, which I sent to you. For those watching, it is on Amazon. If you want to grab it, it's called "Surviving Suicide." Selfless
rabbit,
plug.
rabbit.
Shameless plug. Um, oh, you froze there a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
But um, I was working three jobs.
Hmm.
I was working about 60 hours a week. I was doing three jobs plus then my photography, which I was doing on the side, and doing some self dog work as well, dog training as well. So I had five things on the go,
Hmm.
and it was a snap. I went to sleep one day and woke up almost 2 days later. Um, it was bad. So you can be addicted to getting things done.
Yeah.
I find a lot of times we avoid our problems, our own challenges, our own demons by hiding behind our work and burying ourselves in our work. So I'm failing with my mental health in my case. So I'm going to just drown myself in work. So I'm not going to deal with what I'm a failure at, and then it comes back to bite you anyways.
Exactly. Because I don't know about you, but the whole time I'm doing these other things, I'm still thinking about the other stuff that I know in my heart or I feel in my heart that I'm supposed to be doing that will actually make me feel great. But I will push them off and just like, oh, I got to do this or such and such needs me to do that before I really dive into, first of all, why I'm avoiding this stuff
Yep.
because it'll probably bring up feelings that I don't want to confront right now. So, like you said, it's a matter of sitting down with yourself and we got to do this. So it's no getting away from it. You try to, but it'll
The
always come back.
faster you try to run, the faster it catches up. So
Oh,
it's um I find the way and this kind of leads back into productivity and healthy productivity,
mhm.
is setting aside personal time for yourself.
Yeah.
Setting aside, it's going to vary from person to person, but setting aside some time for self-reflection, whether it's journaling, whether it's a little bit of a paint and wine night and just kind of getting lost in your thoughts, or drawing it out, or meditation, anything. Just give yourself a little bit of time for self-reflection, especially after a stressful or an eventful time. Could be a positive time, but if there's a lot that was done in a short amount of time,
Mhm.
very important to reflect on that and just to release all of that energy that you have kind of built up from that.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I heard you mention meditation. Do you think there's a wrong way to go about meditating?
Yes. Um, if you want to look at meditation from a spiritual point of view,
Hmm.
if you put out bad juju into the universe, you're going to get bad juju in return.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to look at it from a more scientific, which I am nowhere near a good scientist or anything of that nature, but if you want to look at it from a more grounded, realistic Earth approach,
Mhm.
um, then it's more of a thought process. Whatever thoughts you have going into it, you're going to grow. And especially when you have nothing but your thoughts and sometimes the sound of your breath and the beating of your own heart,
Mhm.
you can really get locked into a bad place mentally
Yeah.
if you are trying to meditate from a negative place. So it's very, very tricky.
Mhm.
It takes me probably a good 20 minutes to a half hour before I can start to meditate, just to free write everything out of my mind. I have to
Mhm.
start from a completely empty mind.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes I break my meditations off right away because I'm just in a negative space and I can't do a proper meditation.
Yeah. And see, that's really good that you recognize that as well, because when I first started trying to meditate, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about maybe 2016 when I first started trying to meditate and stuff. And I would just sit there, like you're saying, and I would just be so upset with myself and be like, okay, why can't I stop thinking? Like, why can't I stop thinking? I'm thinking about all these other things. I should be sitting here focusing. I need to be taking this time so I can take care of my mental health. And I'm just sitting there just being mean and ruminating on just unnecessary things. So like you said, like that's not good at all. Like I did have to get into the habit of, okay, I need to write this stuff down or breathe
Yeah.
it out first. And then I can sit here and do my meditation for 5 or 10 minutes. Like I used to try to set these huge goals, like, okay, I'm gonna meditate for an hour. I'm gonna
Yep.
meditate.
I'm going to sit down for an hour and reach nirvana by myself.
You are not just get like so I had to get in my head like, okay, little increments. That makes me feel better. Like I can do 5 minutes. I can do 5 minutes. If I could sit here for 5 minutes, and even I'm not even gonna lie, at the beginning, that was so hard for me. So I would even just try to do it for a minute, just sit there, just even if that didn't work, like 30 seconds, something like I have to try. So yes, it's very difficult, to have and build a meditation practice. I feel like either way you go, even if you don't think about it, you are meditating on something. So you might as well get into
Mhm.
control of that. So
Yes.
mm, definitely. So I think we touched on this a little bit, but now or in the past, has your value ever been attached to productivity? And how did you move from that mindset?
Um, no.
Okay.
Um, I've always been an artist. I went to school, I went to college for acting for film. I've done photography, so I've just been enwrapped by the arts. And within the arts, there is a little bit of a demand for free flowing, for um, just movement and expression and taking chances.
Yeah.
And um, yes, there are time constraints and things like that, but there's always a sense of, okay, right now in this current moment, it's just all eyes are on me. I can take as much or as little time as I need. So within the arts themselves, there's always been a little bit of space
Hmm.
that a lot of other professions and activities and stuff don't include. So I've
Right.
always tried to carry that sense of artistic um, space-headedness, for lack of a better term. Just that, ooh, shiny, I'm going to go off on this path for a little bit. I've
Yeah.
always tried to allow myself a little sense of that,
Yeah.
even when being put into time constraints or productivity constraints or things like that. I always try to add a little bit of spontaneity or uh, um, fun or exploration to whatever I'm doing to allow myself that sense of freedom.
Mm. That's really good. That's really, really good. And see, just speaking to you, like asking you that question, I'm asking myself. And for me, I've always been attached to how much I can get done for someone else. Or, yeah, not even for myself, just for someone else. So if I can't get this done for a job or a friend or a parent, family member, or whatever, I will feel terrible. Feel terrible. Just I'll feel bad for focusing on anything I have going on because I should have been doing this for them. I didn't get that
Yeah.
done. So, but how you're saying like, okay, I'm an artist and I do think like that. I think like, oh hey, look at that! Like, oh, it's a squirrel over there. Like, that's how I am. And I was just talking to my therapist, like I think 2 weeks ago now, and she was saying like, I think you're having such a hard time because you're just denying so many parts of yourself, and you don't have to. So
Yeah.
I'm just like I do feel like that's why God made me an artist, just for healing, pretty much. Like this is how you think. Like, don't be, ashamed of that or anything like that. So that's
No.
cool you brought that up. Yeah.
Well, and I was just gonna say I've spent so long um, trying to live a life that other people have seen or
Mm,
that other people dream of.
yeah.
Um, an old roommate of mine tried to insult me one day by saying I was the supporting actor in my own movie.
Mm,
And it really hit home, actually. I live just like you. I try to live my life by doing things for other people. That is my measurement of my own worth, by how
mm,
much I can help others.
yeah.
And I can still help others through helping myself.
Yeah.
And I can still do things for others while being a little bit more selfish and focusing on me.
Mm,
Um, I don't know about you, but I can't help myself, or I can't help others if I'm feeling terrible about myself.
yeah. Definitely. And that's
Um,
that. Continue.
no, no, I was just gonna say, and so that's been my big goal, especially through my mental health journey, is
Hmm.
finding ways of doing things for myself that can still help others.
Yeah. Definitely. Like that's a part of my journey as well. Like that makes me think about a project I had a couple years ago.
Mhm.
It was when I made the post of how we connected in 2020. Um, so I made a post because I had this campaign called Electrocating, and it just ended up turning into something that it wasn't supposed to be because I wasn't taking care of myself. And it ended up turning into trauma bonding and just sitting around talking about problems and issues and not really developing solutions and seeing that we can move past these different things that we're having problems with. So I'm really glad that I'm able to have that platform now. But I guess I had to go through those things as well to learn what I can and cannot do for people. And like you said, just helping myself first because if you don't, they will never get the full benefit from what you're supposed to do. It'll always turn out wrong, I think. So,
Mhm. Um, an analogy I like to use with some of my friends is it's easier to pull someone up the rest of the way than
mhm.
to push them up over the hill and hope they reach back to help you.
Mm,
So for me, if I can get myself to the top of that hill, I know anybody who's been following me, anybody who needs help, I can be there to help because I'm already there. I
Yeah,
can't help someone from the bottom because I don't know what the journey is ahead. So I have to help myself so that I can help others.
definitely. Yeah, I like that. I like that for sure. So we touched on this briefly, but how do you feel about breathing? Do you think there's a proper way to breathe throughout the day that makes it a better day for you?
Um, yes, there is definitely a proper way to breathe. Do I do it? Absolutely not. um, but there is definitely a proper way to breathe. You want to breathe from the bottom of your lungs. You want to have a breath belly, as I like to call it. So to really breathe from your stomach to get a good a good lungs full of air.
Yeah.
And nice slow breaths. Your mind follows the pace of your breath. So if
Mm,
your breath is racing, your heart's going to race, your brain's going to race. If you can slow your breathing down, you slow your thought process down, you slow your heart rate down, and you can figure things out. So absolutely, there's a proper way to breathe.
yeah. And I'm no master at that either. But when I do catch myself sitting there sometimes, like I'll notice, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I'll notice like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even breathing. Like I'm holding my breath. I'm sitting here holding my breath. And then I just started thinking, like, okay, how many times throughout the day am I holding my breath,
Yep.
anticipating something bad happening or an attack or an emotional attack, just different stuff. So I'm just always automatically on edge because I'm not breathing.
Yes. 100%. Um, for me, it's my breath, breathing, and I clench my jaw. I've noticed a lot more recently. My teeth feel like shock absorbers. I'm just holding my jaw, and I gotta like, okay, relax, relax,
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah. I definitely have to get into that mindset. Like, okay, relax. Like you said, my jaws are tight. Like I said, I work with people all day long, so I'll see how I'm hunched over or like just just doesn't feel good. So I'll have to get up. I set timers on my phone now and be like, okay, get
Hmm.
up, look around, do a little stretching, something, because just sitting on the computer, like that's draining too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely, just great. That's really a good way to be mindful too. Just get up and move and just notice your breathing. Just slow down. Like you can take control of your day or any situation through your breath. It may sound like bullshit, but for real, really helps.
It,
Really helps.
it does until you do it and you realize, holy crap, I just had to breathe for 30 seconds and now I can think about a way out.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
all it takes.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, this is such a good conversation, and we only have a few more minutes. It went by so fast, but I want to ask you a few more questions. So we talked about
Sure.
meditation, how you can do it the wrong way. So what do you think about affirmations and the whole manifestation like culture type thing? Like, do you believe in that? Like, what do you think about that?
Um, I personally, I can only speak for myself. I consider myself a spiritual agnostic. So for me, I believe in some form of higher power,
Mhm.
whether that is God, whether that is Mother Nature, whether that's the universe, or some aliens in a petri dish just kind of poking things around, or whether we're in a simulation. I don't know.
Yeah,
But there is something out there, I do believe.
yeah,
Um, and do I believe in manifesting? I believe it doesn't hurt. I
mhm,
believe putting something out to the universe, whether consciously or subconsciously, gets you to work towards that. So whether it's the universe helping to guide you on that path and kind of throwing obstacles in your way to help you out to really achieve that goal at the end, or whether it's you just seeing what it is you want, a shiny new bicycle. And am I 12? What it anyway.
I want a bicycle. Oh my God, bicycle.
So no matter what it is, it could be a new car or anything like that, you're going to find ways of working around to earn whatever it is you want. So whether you take a more scientific, practical, realistic approach, and I use that term in quotations, or whether you take a more spiritual, religious, cosmic, astrological point, it doesn't matter. The end goal is the same. You have a desire, you start out on that journey, whether you consciously make these choices or whether the universe helps you out, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, you're going to do and get what you need.
Yeah, I totally feel the same way. Like, I feel like affirmations and all that stuff, they are based on science in a way to me. Like, again, I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but there's just things that have happened to me in my life and I've seen, and that I'm just like, I can't explain this. Like, oh, so
Absolutely.
like you said, I definitely know it's somebody out there that's got my back. So I know that. And like you said, I just think if you just keep putting the good energy out and just write those things down, like repetition. Like I think informations and stuff make sense because it's in science. We've learned in science classes and stuff before too. Like repetition, like that will get it done. Like they drill these facts into us daily. So why couldn't you just talk about yourself daily in a good way? And I think,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Put it
and
out there, whether you put it out there, whether it's a fake it till you make it,
exactly.
placebo effect, whether it's the universe taking your thought and kind of going, yes, you now deserve it. Again, I don't know. I don't have those answers. So I'm not going to sit here and say one way or another, but no matter which way which path you follow, the affirmation is so, so, so important.
Yeah.
Daily, daily, daily. Think positive about yourself. Um, and one thing I do is I allow myself bad days. I give myself a this doesn't count day. And all the bad things that I want to say or think about myself, it comes out. And then at the end of that day, I say, okay, good thing that didn't count. And the next day, I feel good again. So releasing that negative stuff through your daily affirmations and saying, I'm having a really hard day, but I still have a roof over my head. I'm still putting food on in my stomach. I'm still seeing tomorrow. I'm gonna see later today. Whatever your affirmation is, whatever that positivity in your life is, hold on to that and focus on that and repeat it until it becomes your reality.
Definitely. I believe that as well. So okay, yes. This is so awesome. We're gonna have to have a part two because I really want to talk more about your book and just what you're doing. That was great. Like you've definitely given me a few points as well because it is okay to have a bad day and speak about those things in information. It's like, okay, well, I might have felt that way a few weeks ago, but I know that's not true. Or yeah, and keep going. Like, don't stay in that moment. Doesn't have to be forever because you feel like that way. So
For
definitely,
sure.
yes.
And for my affirmations, um, I have such low self confidence that I have three people that I look out um, to as my pick me up. They're my hype crowd, if you will. Anytime I'm having a bad day, if I can't think straight, if I can't pull myself out of a really negative spot,
Mm-hmm.
I pull in my hype crowd. I bring my friends in whose opinions of me I trust more than my own opinion of me, and they will set me straight again. Because again, dealing with mental health is very hard, and there are days where no matter what you face, you feel like a failure. So it's nice to have people in your corner that can pick you up when you need it.
Definitely. Definitely. So that's exactly what my next question is going to be. What do you suggest that others should do to become more mindful?
Um, yeah, it's hard when your brain doesn't think in a healthy way,
Mm,
whether it's from trauma, whether it's just the way you were raised, or any number of reasons. If your brain doesn't think in a healthy way, you can't do it on your own. It's just you can look up inspirational quotes all you want. You can write things down and you can try to do these positive affirmations. But if you don't have any bit of um, belief within yourself, there you have no starting point. There's no way to get you off the ground. So
mm,
it's so important to reach out. And it could be a stranger. Sometimes reaching out to a stranger is the best thing you can do because they don't have a biased opinion of you.
yeah.
If you say, "Hey, I'm feeling really down today. Can someone give me a little pick me up?" If I post that on Facebook, I'll have, or Instagram here, I'll have five, six, 10 people sometimes reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, you don't know me, but your photos really make me
Yeah.
really relate to me." And just a little compliment sometimes is, "Yeah, you know what? I am a good photographer." And then
Mm,
from there, it can start to snowball. But sometimes you just need that one little piece of information from an outside source to help you get the ball rolling.
definitely, definitely. I'm a big advocate on that as well. I tell all my friends, family, that go talk to somebody. Like I know people, I feel like even if people want to see who I know, like it's time. Like we can find you somebody. But yes, definitely seek help, talk to someone. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. Because you see, everybody's going through this stuff, especially
Mm-hmm.
what's going on right now in the world. Don't think you're alone. You're suffering with ADHD, anxiety, depression, any of that by yourself. You're not. We feel you, we love you, and you guys can talk to us anytime. So, one more thing before we go. Do you have your piece for the night? Do you have your piece for the night?
Yes, I can show you what I drew now. Little bit of backstory before I show it.
Okay.
Um, I'm not an artist, as I mentioned at the beginning of this. Sorry, I just want to say, Big Bob, thank you so much. Somebody just commented that they like my photos, and honestly, that means the absolute world. So thank you so much.
Very talented young man. Very talented.
Thank you. So yeah, so I don't draw. So I used to only draw on special occasions, and for me, special occasions were my birthday.
Okay.
For my birthday, my family would take me out to my choice of restaurant. So I got to choose anywhere I wanted to go,
Nice.
and to have dinner. So I used to always choose Kelsey's or Casey's or sometimes Montana's. I loved Montana's
Okay.
because you could draw on the table.
Nice.
I was 16 at the time. Let's keep that in mind. So, but I still love to draw on the table. I can't draw, so I would draw a little alien dude,
Oh, yeah.
and I gave him a little bit of a geometric surfboard over here.
That's
But
what's
this is the guy that I used to always draw anytime I go to a restaurant, anything like that. If someone said, "Paint a picture of yourself" or "Draw a picture of yourself," I would always draw just this guy. So
nice.
that this is my piece of art. That took me far too long to draw for the quality that it is.
That is so cool. Okay. So the rule is I get to name your piece and then you name my piece. So I'm gonna name your piece. I want to call it waiting lately.
Say that one more time for me.
Waiting lately.
Nice.
Waiting lately. So
I
yeah,
love it.
please send me a picture of that. Waiting lately. I like that. So this is my piece for the evening. It's a
Wow.
Um, so I just decided to start writing just all the things that bring me peace. I read, I draw, dreams, some of the people that bring me peace, my best friend home, my husband. I'm gonna fill it up with everything. Not done yet, but this is what I have for the evening.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So,
Um,
what's your name?
so I am gonna call yours the meaning of life.
The meaning.
Because for me, the meaning of life is just finding that inner peace.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing without it. There's nothing without that. Like you can't have anything without that. So you're very right. Yes. Yes. This was awesome. This was so much love. I appreciate this. Thank you so much, David. Like, thank you so much. Like, this is great. Like, how we're talking about, go after what you want. I met this guy 2+ years ago. Yeah, just a post I decided to put up on a whim because I was feeling like crap and I wanted to do something to change and help. So this is awesome. This is great. Thank you so much for this, David. I'm going to repost this. Once we're done here, make sure you guys go follow him at Schilling with Schilling. He's an awesome photographer. Read his book. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, yes, there we go. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. Read this book. Go on Amazon. You can get it. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again, David.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, if I could figure out how to go for the night.